So welcome back friends. We are on part 2 of our microservices design pattern discussion in continuation to the previous video. So in case you have not checked it out, I request you to check it as well, because that will actually be useful in your interview preparation in terms of design patterns and architecture discussion. Now without wasting any time, let's start. So previously you have seen the microservices that were 2 or more in number and how it was a crucial element in the inter microservice communication. Now imagine the count. If it is going beyond 10 microservices, then it becomes really tedious to have a proper intercommunication among the microservices. To overcome this type of scenarios, we use Saga design pattern, and that further is of two types as per the industry standards. One is orchestration, one is choreography. Let's start with the orchestration design pattern. So how it helps is, instead of allowing the microservices to invoke each other directly, what we are doing is we are having one central orchestrator service here that will be actually having the exact business logic that after which module another module has to be called out. So for example, after the onboarding of the user details capturing has to be called out, and after that the verification has to be called out, and in the background we can even leverage some analytics employing AI/ML modules that will further help in proper analytics and data visualization to the stakeholders. So this type of design pattern is actually providing us good isolation among the services and good logical workflow. Now coming to the cons, as you can see, we have a high dependency on the central orchestrator because that acts as a brain, and in case it goes down, the entire workflow will go for a toss. Now to enable this central orchestrator to work in a fail-safe way, we can have a logical replication as master slave implementation, that in case one instance goes down, the other can take over. So all this comes to the best practices that we can share with the interviewer. Coming to the next pattern, it is in continuation of the previous Saga design pattern. This is known as choreography. As you can see, the main difference here is there is no central orchestrator present here. Instead, the microservices are logical enough to understand that which other service has to be invoked after completing the process. Now this also gives an illusion that they are working in a synchronous way, in a linear fashion, but internally they actually follow the business logic that based on which we actually do the implementation. Now this acts as a con also, because here we are having one possibility of cascading failure. Imagine if this user detail service in between goes down, and the other services are actually waiting for its response, and internally they start failing as well because they did not receive this crucial piece of response body. Now to handle this, we need to make sure that the services, even if they are failing, they have to fail in a graceful way. So for this we can employ a circuit breaker methodology, where yes, the service fails, it does not cascade its failure to the other services. Rather, it will break the entire workflow circuit then and there itself, and accordingly generate the response. Now one more thing you would be seeing here is that the communication looks synchronous in nature, and you can very well judge that synchronous communication among the services can come with its own overhead and blocking nature. So in that case, we can employ simple message brokers, simple broker queues in place, so that they can work in asynchronous fashion, and the response of one service can be fed to another and can be pulled based on demand, rather than making the entire network connection open for the entire duration of time. Coming to the next design pattern, we have CQRS, command query responsibility segregation. This comes handy when we are having high reads or high writes, and they are actually compromising one another. For example, in case there is a lot of network traffic just for the read APIs, that means suddenly there is a huge offer going on, and many users are actually visiting the application to see what all offers are there. So suddenly your read volume will be increased, and write was anyway intensive. So too many of read heads or too many of read connections will compromise with the ongoing writes, and vice versa. So that will actually lead to a very bad user experience. So what we do is like we have a proper segregation inside the database. That means our read replica will be separate, write replica will be separate, and internally they will be having the same replicated tables, and which will be synchronized over the period of time. Now, to have the proper synchronization, we should be relying on some industry proven standards like CDC, change data capture. Instead of checking each and every detail, we should be capturing well enough, like what exactly changed after the previous snapshot that was captured. So this will actually help you in understanding what needs to be replicated in a very short span of time. So this will reduce the replication time as well. Now, as you can see, this might lead to some inconsistency in case the replication pipeline or the sync up pipeline goes down or goes for a toss, or in case there is any issue. So these type of scenarios have to be considered well in advance. Now, ideally, this won't be a good use case or good implementation for real-time scenarios like share market, flight booking, anything. But in case you are having a social media where any like or comment can actually take some seconds to reflect on the UI. So in these type of scenarios, CQRS design pattern can be preferred. Now coming to the next, event sourcing. What it does is it captures all the events that have happened in the past inside the application, and also provides us the capability to replay it. I would like to give one example here. If you have seen the Confluence pages, in the edit mode, it not only gives you your version of changes, but also all the version of changes in the history. And it also provides you capability to restore that version with the current version. Restore the current version with that particular version. So in that case, what you are doing is you are replaying based on the past event, and that will give you more insights on what exactly happened, who changed the file, what all changed, and what led to the current version. So instead of going to the particular event and I would say like brainstorming on top of it, like what went wrong, you can replay the events one after the other. And what you are doing here is you are actually auditing the application, that what led to the current state. So as you can see, so these type of audits actually come handy whenever we are adhering to any government regulation or compliance, and also whenever the historical behavior is very much needed. So what we need to do is like it won't be expecting many changes, rather on top of the uh, existing design pattern that we discussed earlier as well, we need to add one capability to the microservices where they will be actually feeding the events into an event queue, and that event queue will be feeding the data that we are providing here, the message is providing here, into the event services. Then in a logical sequential way, uh, it will be storing the events so that they are actually ready for replay on demand through anytime through the UI service. So yeah, this is how we achieve this event sourcing. Now coming to the cons about it, so as you can see, it heavily depends on the event queuing mechanism. That has to be scalable enough, that has to be resilient enough, and also you can see that you have a tight dependency on log based broker. So in these type of scenarios, we generally prefer Kafka. So here Kafka actually provides us some fail-safe methods to make sure the read and write instances are actually in sync. So these type of techniques we can leverage to implement this. And yeah, all these points you should be highlighting to the interviewer, so that that actually gives an insight to the interviewer that you have worked on it or you have the working knowledge. So that's all I had for now. So I hope like you found the videos helpful and you would use some of the pointers and the discussions in your upcoming interviews. So I wish you all the very best, and stay tuned for more. Thank you.